I'd love for him to get the interview and see what they think about him. But I'm going to throw a new name at you. Okay, I'm coming from way out of left field here. Okay, and DeAndre, you think you know ball? I'm going to say a name right now. You've never even heard of this guy before. Okay, get ready. Lindsay Baseball, this goes for you too. I'm going to throw a name at you guys.
Does he know the slot cut?
He probably does.
Okay, just making sure.
You know,
all right,
drop
George,
coverage.
He may know drop coverage. This guy, George. Let me ask you this. You told me that if Eric Spoelstra was the coach of the Lakers, with the current roster the Lakers had, they could have beaten Denver with Eric Spoelstra.
I thought they could potentially beat Denver, yes.
Okay. Who is the number one lead assistant coach? So you got Riley, who has mentored Spoelstra.
For the Heat, you're saying Chris
Yeah.
Quinn, who got some interviews last year.
Okay, so that's the name I'm throwing at you right there.
Chris Quinn.
A guy by the name of Chris Quinn. I'm going to say this. The average fan
does not know Chris Quinn.
Doesn't have any idea about Chris Quinn. They don't know what kind of
coach.
They don't know what kind of superstar high school player he was in Ohio.
He played at Notre Dame in
college. They don't know nothing about his Notre Dame career.
Yeah, played a little bit in the NBA.
They know nothing about his cup of coffee, and they don't even know that he's the lead assistant of the Miami Heat. But here's what I'm saying to you. That if you think the Heat have the culture, if you think that Eric Spoelstra has become the best and highest paid coach in the entire NBA because he was literally raised from the film room to the championship, to standing there with championship trophies, if you think he was raised by Pat Riley, well, guess what? There's another guy that they've been raising in that organization. His name is Chris Quinn. So if you're going to kick the tires on Mark Jackson or J.J. Redick or Mike Budenholzer, then you know what? You ought to look at Chris Quinn and say, Riley, Spoelstra, Quinn. Let's talk to that guy. I'm throwing that name in there.
They call him very jokingly. It's interesting, Cappy. I hadn't really thought of it. Because I feel like the Lakers, in theory, although Darvin wasn't a big name, although Darvin's name had been floated out as a lead assistant guy who needed to get a head coaching job for a number of years. Quinny just got that first opportunity last year to start interviewing.
Quinny, is he a close personal friend of yours?
I know Quinny for a long time. Actually, I covered Quinny as a player.
That's awesome. I like that you have a nickname. It's a cute nickname, Quinny.
They jokingly call him Spo's Mini-Me over there.
Oh, he's better.
See, that's what I call him, Spo's Mini-Me.
Yeah. And they say that because, he's got a similar temperament and organizational kind of like thought process. You know what I mean?
Is he part of the circle of trust?
He played for the team. He played for them for 3 years. He played in the league he played for Cleveland for a minute too, I want to say.
It's what I like to call the Miami Heat circle of trust.
He played for the Heat. He played for San Antonio for a season. I want to say the Nets for a year or two. And I think at the end maybe played for Cleveland briefly.
And then he went and he played in Europe, you know what I mean? And he kicked around for a while. But my point is
but he's been on their staff for a long time.
That's my point.
He was there when, by the way, he was also there when Shaq was there as a player. I want to say that was his rookie season. And so, he's a guy that's going to get more interviews this cycle. And, I guess why shouldn't the Lakers consider him? The Charlotte Hornets are going to interview him.
Yeah, well, again, I mean, you look at his background and who he's played for. You mentioned his time in San Antonio, brief as it may have been. He was there, and so he's been around great coaches. He's been around what everybody thinks is the best coach in the NBA right now in Spoelstra, and we all know how Spoelstra was created. I'm not trying to take anything away from Coach Eric. Okay, that's what I call him. But seriously, if it wasn't for Pat Riley, we would not know who Eric Spoelstra is. Okay, and so if Riley created Spoelstra and Spoelstra and Riley together have created Chris Quinn, then if you're looking for the next up and coming guy, who's maybe his time has come. And oh, by the way, he's not a $10 or $12 million a year coach. I think this guy, Chris Quinn, is a name that the Lakers should be looking at.
That he's going to get an interview. Like I said, he's already on the short list for the Charlotte Hornets interview list, which J.J. Redick is also on, by the way. So, I mean, good job, Cappy. I didn't think of Quinny for the Laker job because I just, it didn't dawn on me in that regard. Like, I also feel like they would want someone with a little more name value, perhaps, but maybe not,
Well, don't give me too much credit. Give credit to Vegas, because when I looked at the Vegas odds, I had no idea who Chris
Did they
Quinn
have
was.
Quinny on there?
Yeah, and then I had to look him up. And then once I looked him up, and once
Who
I
else
read
is
his
on
resume,
that list?
Budenholzer, Chris Quinn,
Budenholzer.
well, whatever. Jay Wright, Sam Cassell, Phil Handy, who I think you can take off that list.
Yeah, he's
Vogel.
off the list.
Believe it or not, Becky Hammond.
Yeah.
And J.J. Redick's a long shot at plus 1,200. But seriously, when I saw Chris Quinn's name, I said, Chris Quinn, I really don't know who that is. So then I started to look him up. And then once I started to look him up and I read about him as a player, as a college player, as a coach, seeing that he'd played for Pop in San Antonio, that he'd worked for Spoelstra, which means you're working for Riley, which means you're learning the culture. I like the idea. He's a young guy. He's like 40 years old. You know, I think, listen, he doesn't have the relationship with LeBron that J.J. Redick seems to have, but I like the idea.
Yeah, sure, I think you should interview him. I would say I would be all about that.
Okay, give me his number and I'll interview him.
Not you.
Oh. Because I would do that. I would interview him.
Yeah, no, you're not interviewing anyone for that job, Kevin.
Okay, well, give me his number and we'll get him on the show and we'll interview him on the air.
I don't think Quinny's coming on the show.
Why not?
It's just not his thing.
Why? He got time. They just got knocked out.
Yeah, I feel like he's like in Cabo or something right now.
Oh, really? He's already there, huh?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, well, then maybe Jeannie should go there. That's how deals get done in Cabo.
Yeah.
Ask Sean McVay.
Right, no doubt.